G'day guys, today we're going to be blind testing iRacing setup shops to determine which is best. We got setups from 7 of iRacing's top setup shops as well as a baseline setup, and then we sent them off to a mod of my stream who then sent them back to me renamed setup 1, setup 2, setup 3, etc. So we'd have no idea what setup we were driving while we were testing them. The combo we chose for this was Spa IMSA from a couple of weeks ago in the Porsche GT3. The reason we chose this combo is obviously Spa is a challenging track, but also the most popular track, so it's a good baseline for how good a setup is. As for the Porsche, it's a hard car to set up. You have to combat understeer, as well as making the car not deathy. I got a couple of my friends to do this with me. Esports athlete, pro driver extraordinaire Will Chadwick, who is an 8K skill level driver. The overlay says 9, but I wasn't going to re-edit that, so close enough. We also have goated sim racing streamer, degenerate pro poker player Rudasku, who is about a 2K skill level in the GT3 cars and is going to be able to offer a really interesting and different perspective on this. This is one car, one track, and one combo. Obviously, you can't judge a setup shop based off that, but what we can do is learn some interesting things, see the differences between setups, and kind of ascertain a little bit more about what makes setups different. Will was screen recording the whole time, and I know he wasn't looking into the setups or cheating, but ultimately we thought it would be unfair to include a setup shop Will works so closely with, so we did edit Hymo out of the video. This means sometimes in the video we'll say setup 9 and it will actually be set up like the one before that, or the rankings might be one off. That's just because we removed Hymo. Also, just before we get started, would you mind just subscribing and liking? That'd really help me out. Thank you.
Okay. If oh my god. If I'm
you
struggling
crashing?
that much, if I'm struggling that, enjoy poo one? Is that the name of it? The long left?
Oh Lord,
Right, okay, so you're all crashing. I haven't even got out on track yet, and you're all okay.
I honestly, genuinely didn't expect to come into this, and then he set me that loose. I don't have
So
any
far, I'm
major
quite
damage.
liking it. It's turning very well.
oh,
Have you drove poo on yet?
No.
Died. Hey, to be fair though, it's a decent set. It's
Paul!
taken me a while.
I've died.
If I get this right, I'm very, very happy with myself. I'm going to say this is a P1 dock.
I think it's P1 or Grid and Go. The more I'm driving this, the more I'm not liking it, to be honest. It just feels like over a race stint, my rears would be gone, I'd be doing nothing.
Do you know what? I think if this was a qualifying set, I would be praising it, because I think like the ultimate like extraction you can get out of this set is so high, because ultimately a set that's loose is fast. It's just a case of being able to control it.
I would say that if you're new to iRacing, this would probably be the worst set of all time for you. Or even if you're new to the car, like Rudasku is, he's probably not loving it, yeah.
being new to the car, this is, I like it more than the baseline.
Yeah, okay.
It's like more fun to drive it, but I'm definitely having a bit of trouble, like, adjusting to how I should be, like, how much speed I can take through some of the corners without spinning out on the exit.
This is the thing though, if the shop gives you a safe setup, which is a lot safer, then at least you've got that alternative.
So look, I'm going to rank it 4. I think it was aggressive, which was good. It might go up if other sets are also that deathy, but for now that seems a little bit excessively deathy. So I'm going to put it tentatively in 4, and it'll probably get moved a lot. But for me it was fast, but over a stint it's probably going to kill you, and it felt very deathy.
Very aggressive. I enjoy the fact it's ambitious, but I think that over the course of a race stint, towards the end of an IMSA race, when you're not changing tyres and you're doing a 45-minute race, I think your tyres are going to be shot. And just knowing how you drive the GT3s in this game, I feel like it's quite hard to be... I feel like it might be quite hard to be consistent.
Yes. As someone completely new to the car, was very hard to set a lap, and I had to drive very conservatively, so I'm putting this at a 7. Might go down depending on how deathy the other sets are. Sort of nice. I mean, I've barely gone through many of the corners, but
I set up in a... It's quite aggressive, but it's set up in a more smart way. Like the cylinders aren't as aggressive, the bias isn't as aggressive, so you don't get as much rear locking into entries and corners.
Yeah, this feels really good. It feels aggressive, but not stupid like the first one. It is deathy a little bit, but it's very manageable. Like, the oversteer is slight. The car's giving me plenty of time to react to it.
I feel like I have time to like catch the car with this one, whereas the first one, once it's loose, I'm just like dead.
I think it needs a bit more rear traction for mid-high speed, but I can see you've got to always make compromises with setups. I've done setups myself across many cars, and you can never have a perfect setup in terms of everything. I mean, it's definitely one of the best sets we're going to use. I have no doubt about that. This is grid and go. There's no doubt in my mind.
But I think it is grid and go. As someone who uses grid and go every day.
Yeah, like I feel like the main thing with it is I feel like with the first one, like I just couldn't save it at all. Like as soon as the rear stepped out.
Yeah, I agree with that though as well. Like we're all crashing, yeah.
With this one, you can feel it going a little bit, and then you can lift off, and it sort of straightens out.
Yeah, I mean, I've set my fastest lap. I feel like it is dangerous, but in a controlled way. The car felt really good. Yeah, I'm going to tentatively put it in number 2. I feel like it's a good mix between aggression and drivability.
I'm going to agree with that.
You're also putting it in number 2 for now?
2 or 3, but I'll put it 2 for now. I don't see much being that much better than that.
Yeah, I think this was going in 2 for me as well. It's like way easier to drive than the first one.
Oh, that's immediately different. Without having driven the baseline, I could be convinced to think this is the baseline as well. You know what? This set's actually growing on me. It's fast. I was gonna say it's fast in a straight line. It's definitely a set that relies more on understeer.
This car's always based on understeer though. Like even that set we liked last time had understeer.
It's weird because I don't like how this feels necessarily, but I'm going faster.
I think this is Apex. I think I'm pretty.
You think it's Apex?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Craig's after driving it a bit more.
I think it feels like a more aggressive reverse setup. That's what it feels like.
I've actually gone faster on this set. That being said, I think I could have gone faster on the last set with a little bit more time to get used to it. That set, I actually didn't mind. It was fast. It was maybe a little safe, and I think I could extract less pace out of it. I'm going to put it in number 3 for now. But I'm also going to shift setup 1 and 2 down, because I don't think they deserve to be right behind those two. I think they were worse.
I feel like I like the previous one a little bit better. This one, they feel very similar to me. I can't, like,
Yeah, okay.
I don't feel too differently about them. I think I'm going to move and then put this one into third.
I'm still going with setup 3 is the best setup we had, but I'm presently surprised by that one. I don't want to put this at number 3, but I'm going to put it at number 4 and shift the others back. I'd say this is great. I think it's decent, from what I feel.
You think it's decent? Really?
Yeah.
I hate this. I am not a fan.
I feel like it's like a safer version of the first one.
What I will say about this though is, bar the first setup, I would happily use any of them for an IMSA race and be perfectly happy. I am not vibing with that at all. The understeer is killing me, and keep it like my driving style. I hate understeery sets, but the understeer is killing me. I feel like I just can't get the rotation out of the car, and I feel like it's not for me.
Really?
Yeah, I hate that set, man. It's doing nothing good for me. Nothing that I enjoy the set's doing. Anyway,
that's really surprising because I think this is a really good setup. I think in terms of I think in terms of a wide range of people, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, look, I'm actually going to move setup 1 down to number 8, and I'm going to put that setup just above it. It was fast in a straight line, which was good. But outside of that, the mid-speed corners, just understeer, losing time. It just felt so sluggish and not responsive. I did not vibe with that set at all.
I actually really like this one. I feel like has like the safe characteristics of the previous ones, but is also like feels fast like the first one. And so I think I'm going to actually tentatively put this one at 1 for me.
I think that they've built it in a way which is safe, but it has all the characteristics of something that would be fast in a race. And I think when you're catering for people, like this is going to have good raceability. It's got good top speed. It's conservative on the brake bias. It's conservative on the brake cylinders. It's generally good. Mid-corner understeer is a little present, but like I'm fine with that. I like this. going at number 3.
I think this might be the baseline. I don't see this being a setup shot.
This is baseline.
Yeah, this is baseline. I don't see this being a setup shot. Literally losing tenths a second per corner.
Oh yeah, that mid corner understeer's pretty bad.
It's understeering. It's
At one time, but I'm not doing it.
it's like trying to get the Titanic to dodge an iceberg.
This can't be a setup shot. Please don't be a setup shot. Please.
Like, the funny thing is, like, these sets feel radically different. And some sets feel really, really slow. And others feel really, really fast. But the lap time difference is actually pretty minuscule. Yeah, look, for me, that one's pretty straightforward. I'm going to put it rank 9. It did nothing I wanted it to do or nothing that was conducive to going fast. I think it's the baseline.
It's better than the first one, mostly because I don't die in it. But that's about it. I think it's like definitely worse than every other one.
It's funny that this is still... No, it's not faster. This is the slowest set that I've been on. I mean, it's not terrible. It's very drivable. I can't rate this anything above 9. I don't think. Unless someone gets worse than this.
This one feels alright. I don't know how fast it's going to be. Quite like this one.
This is too low downforce. I respect it, but it's too low down.
I love this setup, man. This set's perfect.
It's
easy to drive. Why don't you like this? This is amazing.
Loose and high speed, you're going to kill the tyres over the stint.
It's not, I don't know, man. I'm not finding it loose at all. And I'm gaining so much time on the straights. Like, I'm losing a little bit in the corners, but you got to think, like, in an IMSA race where you're going to be drafting up these massive straights, this set, if someone's following you, they're going to really struggle to get past you on this set.
I completely agree with that take. Very conservative on the bias. It feels like a Monza setup. Genuinely. It feels too stiff at the front on the spring, and it feels, I don't know, it feels like the moment that you have to, like, you have dirty air or you have to adjust your line GTP or whatever's happening, right? You're going to be a bit in the bin.
Yeah, I think it's a little too loose for me. I'm like finding myself having to be a little bit more conservative to just not lose the rear, sort of similar to the first one, but it's a lot easier to drive than the first one comparatively, even though it has the same, like, oh, there I go.
Bro, you run that in a race, no one's going to overtake you. I set my fastest
because
lap
you'll be in
time
the
on it.
wall and no one will have overtaken you because you towed to the pit.
You won't be in the wall, though. It was safe for me. I don't know. I'm giving it number 1. I loved it. You run that in an IMSA race, you're going to overtake everyone on the straights, no one's going to overtake you, and I had no trouble driving it. So anyway, where are you going to put it, Will?
4. So it's not that bad.
Anyway, okay, why number 4, though? Why not number 2?
Because it's very fast in a straight line, and it does a good job of being a fast setup in a straight line, which will be very raceable, but it is too loose, I think, for the general person.
I'm moving the first one all the way down to 9. I'm putting this one at 8 because I can't drive the set.
Yeah,
like,
no, fair.
Just like having to lift out on the exits of like all the fast corners because I don't quite have the line figured out, and I think it's just too deathy for me.
Oh, okay. I've done something for the first time. I've died going up Eau Rouge.
I am not sideways in the middle of the track.
Did you also die?
Maybe.
I'm learning a lot today. The thing I'm also learning is that, realistically, despite the fact setups feel completely different to each other, the difference in time is not as big as I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, this feels like set 1 to me.
Yeah, it feels exactly like set 1 to me, Will.
Okay, it's set 1 without their inside rear locker. Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's trying to murder you though, right, Will? Like, it's not, you don't think,
it's not stable.
I mean, what I'll say is I'm not going slowly on this one.
I like it more than I thought I did.
It's not as deathy as setup 1, upon reflection, but it is trying to murder me often. Yeah.
I might hate this more than set 1.
It's not very safe. It's trying to murder me, but I do think with a bit of practice I could extract pace out of it. The reason I'm putting it P5 and not higher, though, is that, like, in an IMSA race, you know, where you'd be using this, if you get dove bombed by a GTP and you have to change your line, or something happens, you turn your wheel too much, you're going to end up backwards in the wall. But I do think it's a very fast set that I could get used to and get a lot of pace out of. So
I'm sticking it at 8. I think it's less. I think thinking back to the first setup, I think the first setup was more deathy than this, and I think for the bottom three right now, they're all just like varying levels of deathy, like too deathy for me to like drive consistently.
I don't know.
You don't know? You're confused?
I'm so confused by this setup. I mean, it's all right. It's a bit loose. No, it's too loose. I don't know. I can't put it at 8. It's not 8. It's 5, and I have no idea who made this setup. I don't know. It was mid.
I don't mind this set. I think this is... The fact that it's rapid in a straight line, but very safe. Like, I think if you're new to iRacing, this would be the perfect set, especially because in a straight line, you're not giving up any time, and getting around the corners is easy. It's not trying to murder me. It's...
It does feel still a little bit more loose than I would like, but again, like, part of it that's going to be a skill issue. Safer than like the ones that I have, I think, put in the bottom 3. I think the bottom 3 are just like borderline undrivable for me because I think if I do 5 laps, I'd probably crash in like 2 or 3 of them.
Probably a little bit safer than I would want for like it kind of under. I feel like it has no aero and they're trying to make it safe despite the fact it has no aero. To be honest with you guys, I'm going to rank that, I think at number 4. It's the vacant spot I've got, and I think it's...
I think 9 is going into 7, and then 6 is going up to 5. And again, I think most of mine is just like, I feel like I'm being forced to like underdrive this because I am not comfortable with like the exit oversteer. Or not,
yeah, 100%.
Not comfortable enough to like set up the line properly. And so basically everything like 6, 7, 8, 9 are in like descending order, or they're all, I think, a little bit too oversteery on exit for me. And I don't think I could drive them consistently in a race.
9 was the last one we tried, and I was fast on 9. 9, I'm sorry, it's good, but it's going to have to go at 7. But honestly, I honestly could say that all of those setups are decent, but in different ways.
Needless to say, that test absolutely blew my mind. If you asked me beforehand what the slowest setup was going to be, I would have guessed Coach Dave, based off what I knew about their setup shop. And they ranked number 1 for me. So honestly, look, I tallied all the results together and they're on screen now, but I don't think that's actually that important. I think the important thing here is that all the setups were good. They were within 2 or 3 tenths of each other. Some got more speed in the corners, some got more on the straights, some were more drivable, some were less drivable. But the fact of the matter is all these setup shops did perform well, and you could have extracted pace out of all of them, bar maybe the first set we used. I think as well, it's interesting to see that safer sets definitely are better for lower iRating drivers, which of course makes sense, but I think... This test was really interesting. I think it taught me not to look at setup shops and judge them with like a wide brush, but, you know, judge them setup per setup, car per car. And, you know, there's no such thing as the best setup shop. It's just not possible, but they all performed well. Other than that, guys, I stream 6 days a week on Twitch. Please subscribe and like. I'll see you next week. Bye!